What's up everybody and welcome back to episode 3 of my survival series. Today I'm gonna move out. I'll leave my starter house and move into an epic main base. I'll also build my first multi-item sorter ever. Also feel free to write your ideas as to what I should build down in the comment section below. Anyways, let's get started. Let's kick off this episode with a copper farm. Probably the easiest one you'll ever see without lacking in production rates. Technically you can AFK at the farm until your PC or the server crashes. As to why that can happen, you'll see in a second. I built the farm in the end at exactly 0 below the island. Spoilers, yes, I will eventually remove the entire end island. But that's for another episode. When loading the farm with zombies the first 2 times, I only had 3 of them and the spawning platforms were too small. So I expanded and went full out. Easy enough, right? I then stocked the farm with 6 zombies, which was enough to get the farm started. The trick is making use of the zombie reinforcement mechanic. When hitting a zombie, there is a chance that it spawns in more zombies in certain areas around it. And by dealing as little as possible damage to the zombies, you can hit the zombies more often, increasing the chances for this to happen. For a full explanation on this, I recommend you check out ENXO4's video on the farm. Now the reason why this farm cannot run for too long is because after a couple of minutes this will happen. Yeah, I fought 1,000 zombies at the same time. That's why every now and then you need to cull the farm, or in other words, kill off as many zombies as needed until you are down to maybe 100 zombies. Moving on to the mob farm. The collection system of the mob farm is very flawed. The minecarts on the rails could be stopped by unloading the chunks or when a mob lands in front of it, even though it immediately dies. So it's time for a new system. I got to work and over the next 2 hours I redesigned the farm quite a bit. First, a water stream at the bottom would flush the mobs to the center. Secondly, I flipped the redstone upside down so the on-off switch is now on the roof. Problem with this is the mobs don't die from fall damage as they fall into water. The magma blocks are too slow to kill them to empty the mob cap. Over the next couple of days, while working on a different project, I redesigned the collection area twice more. The second design made use of Ilmango's minecart eater. This system worked very well for a while until I noticed something odd. At first, it appeared as if some of the minecarts weren't dispensed anymore and mysteriously disappeared. Once I figured out that the hopper minecarts were being picked up by the hoppers where the items should go, I found something interesting. Only when the minecart is empty, this happens to be the case. As long as there were items in the minecarts, everything worked just fine. I went into my creative world. I tried to work around it for some time. However, I gave up on the minecart eater idea and came up with a design that dispenses minecarts regularly and unloads them using buried hopper minecarts. The minecarts that traveled the whole track were dropped as items and brought back to the dispenser. If this system proves to be flawed as well, even though it has a self-fixing mechanic, then I'll start working on the bigger mob farm that will be inside of a perimeter. Yes, I'll build a world eater soon enough. However, so far nothing went wrong with this collection system. As I mentioned before, I was working on a different project while also working on the mob farm, and for that build I need a ton of stone. So here's a little stone generator that was very useful for what's next on the list. Alright, let's stop messing around. The build I'm talking about is my main base. I mentioned it already at the beginning of the video. My idea was to build it on a floating island in the sky. I searched the lands for the perfect spot. The location I chose was so far from any land, you couldn't see any of it with a 16 chunk render distance. After building the dirt frame I realized something. This is way too small for my base, so let's expand it just a bit. For texturing the island, I built a scaffolding all around the island. However, a couple minutes into texturing, it became quite hard as I couldn't look at the bigger picture too well. So I copied my world and went into creative in the copy world. I textured it all and made a Litematica schematic. This allows me to build a lot closer to what my imagination of the build looks like. For the most part, the island is done. So let's get started on the base. Let's talk decoration. I need lots of moss and stacks of warped stem. Fast forward and we have a farm for each of these problems. Next up is the smelter. I custom Chapman's design so it would fit in here. It has 32 furnaces, which is more than enough for now. However, eventually I'll need a bigger smelter, and I'll let you in on a little secret. All around this base I will have multiple floating islands, and each serves a different purpose. So there will be a super smelter island. I already have some ideas what kind of islands I want to build, but if you have any idea as well, I'll be more than happy if you comment it down below. This is what it looks like when I add the bone meal around the area. I had already built an interior, however I didn't like it, so here you can see me change the interior decoration to its final version. Lastly, my first ever multi-item sorting system. The design only works in the 1.19, and I'm so glad I found this design. Often I simply copy a farm design and build it in my own world, but here I decided to study the way it works, and I actually for once understand it. I'm no redstone pro, but I have some basic knowledge as to how it works. One redstone contraption that I came up with myself that I will build in this world is a trading hall. It has many useful features, but you'll have to wait for that one. In the background you can see me set up the filters for the item sorter. But now I want to talk to you guys for a bit. First of all, thank you so very much for all the comments that I have received so far. I haven't mentioned it in the last episode because it was already fully edited to its final version when the first episode went online. Anyways, I am very grateful for every positive note I have received, but feel free to give constructive criticism as well. Also, as you might have noticed, there's always phase 1 in the video titles. I have not really explained what this means yet. Basically, I want to divide the series into multiple phases that are like bigger chapters of the entire Minecraft world. This first phase includes me building the basic farms to get easy access to most of the resources needed for bigger builds later on. My main base with all its islands around it is also part of it. After that, phase 2 starts. It is a bit more destructive than the first one. I will make a large perimeter in the overworld which holds many of the bigger farms, then remove the main end island and build my own. Eventually I'll add another perimeter as well. Whether the latter one is going to be part of phase 2, I don't know yet. However, I don't want to spoil all of my plans right now, and whenever you have an idea, write it down in the comment section below. Now let's get on with the video. Anyways, before we move on to the final build, let's work on some simpler and less time-consuming ones. I decided to finally build a cactus farm as I'm almost running out of it. Also, a 1-minute build that isn't necessary as of right now, but useful to have, is a glow lichen farm. Very nice for decoration. One thing all my previous survival worlds were missing was a powerful gold farm. So this time I decided to go big and build Gnembon's crazy gold farm. Took a long time to build and even longer to spawn proof. I didn't spend too much time trying to find the perfect spot, which would be a huge lava lake in the nether wastes biome. Because of that, it took 3.5 hours to spawn proof it all. But I'm happy that it's not too far away and that it works flawlessly. Alright guys, now I'm gonna give you a little house tour. Here's the entrance. Then in the big hall there is a fountain in the middle, chandeliers and a whole bunch of ender chests underneath moss carpet. Here is the smelter with input, fuel and output chests. Then going up here is the enchanting setup. I have an anvil and grindstone up here as well. And at the bottom is powdered snow to negate all fall damage. Below the stairs we have a little cozy room. Then upstairs, you can look over the fountain and the rest of the house. Over here is the bed and on the other side is a little window. All the way over here is a back door that leads to this wooden platform. You can fly off here and use it as a landing pad. The nether portal is right here. On this wall we have some decoration. Now these two rooms are not built yet. I'm gonna leave this up to you guys, so make sure to write in the comments what I should put in here. My first idea was workstations that I don't use all the time, like a cartography table. Up the bubble elevator is the second floor with a little balcony. Down here is the most important part of the house, the storage. Here is the input chest. For 16 stackables like ender pearls or buckets, you need to hit this note block. It slows down the system, but otherwise 16 stackables would be sorted into the miscellaneous chest. Now let me grab a stack of glass and show you how fast it sorts. Hopper minecarts pull the items and sort at double hopper speed. Again, ender chests and spore blossoms for particles. To get out, just stand here and hit the button. That concludes the house tour. Let me know what you think of my new base, where I'm gonna stay for a very long time. I included a lot more replay footage in this video. Also let me know whether this is more to your liking or if you prefer it when I show more first-person footage. By the way, did you notice the 2 little secrets in the base? Let me know whether you found them. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as the others. Note that these episodes take a long time to make, so I'd appreciate a like on the video, and if you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel for more content. Stay tuned for the next episode. See you next time.